Apple makes some frustrating decisions sometimes, but those decisions, while confusing to us initially, are typically pretty calculated. When Apple removed the headphone jack from the iPhone, their reasoning, it just wasn't sound. Get it? Yeah, they provided only one outrageous justification.
Courage.
Of course, minutes later, when they announced the solution to the problem that they had just created, AirPods, everything started to become more clear. And AirPods, well, they're great, even if the way they made us buy these stupid things was so off-putting. So, when rumors started circulating in 2018 that Apple would be removing the Lightning connector entirely in favor of, no, not USB-C, but of the Qi wireless standard brought to the iPhone 8, I thought, no, this can't be. I mean, look, Qi is a great supplemental charging method, but it can't really be the end-all, be-all practice. You can't charge while using your phone, really, or while throwing it in your bag. And it's quite a bit slower than cable charging. Oh, and not to mention inefficient, expending a lot of energy as heat. But the rumors of a portless iPhone continued to come, and it wasn't until the announcement of the iPhone 12 that it really even seemed possible. But then MagSafe was pitched by Apple at last year's September keynote, and, well, I was on board. In fact, in my recap of the event, I was fairly bullish that MagSafe could actually replace Lightning. But then MagSafe actually came out, and my skepticism, well, it returned. Now, make no mistake, I like Apple's MagSafe charger, and it has been my primary method of juicing up since I got my phone. But the ecosystem of MagSafe accessories we were promised have hardly been a game changer, including Apple's own. Remember that $60 wallet that Apple sells that barely stays attached to your phone? Yeah. So when the $99 MagSafe Battery Pack was released, I thought it might end up a little bit disappointing. But I've had one. Well, actually, 3. One for my wife, one for me that was broken and didn't charge my phone, and thus one replacement. I've had those for a few weeks now, and I have to apologize, Apple. It's not a little bit disappointing. It's one of the most underbaked products I think you've shipped in years. Let's start off with form factor and general construction quality. This thing is solid and well built, with a plastic exterior that feels nice, a semi-slippery rubber mating surface, a status LED, and a lightning port for charging. Now, the status LED, it is a friggin' mess. It displays itself as a solid amber color when charging an iPhone, being charged by an iPhone, being charged via the lightning port, and attempting but failing to charge itself via a wireless Qi charger. There's literally only one color, amber, to denote any status at all, until it's magically done charging, and then it turns green. It seems that even Apple doesn't really know what this LED is supposed to do. Their documentation states, while your MagSafe battery is charging, the status light might flash. If it flashes green, your battery pack is fully charged. If it flashes amber, your battery pack might need more time to charge. It might flash? Might based on what? The LED is worthless when charging the battery itself, but only when plugged in via Lightning without a phone attached, it flashes amber. When charging my AirPods, which it can do, it's just a Qi battery after all, it didn't flash at all, despite actively charging the buds. Conversely, the battery remained solid amber when I tried to charge it via a Qi charger. Never mind the fact that it actually wasn't charging at all, and that brings me to my next point. The whole pitch of MagSafe was that users could charge wirelessly, reliably, and finally ditch their Lightning cables once and for all, except for, just kidding, Lightning's back, and now you 100% have to use it if you want to use the MagSafe battery. In a move that confused literally everyone, the MagSafe battery cannot be charged wirelessly. Except it can. You can do this, this, or this. But not this. Or this. This makes no sense. Some people have said, well, that's easy to explain. It's a unidirectional charging coil, except for no, it isn't. Because the iPhone can reverse charge the battery wirelessly when your iPhone is plugged into power. But you can't just throw the battery on a wireless charging mat? The NFC chip inside the battery that communicates to your iPhone its charge state and percentage charged, well, it triggers the handshake as well that permits charging of the battery pack. Now, maybe I'm missing something, and the phone is, I don't know, handling the rate of charge to extend the life of the battery pack, but could not these smarts be built into the battery itself? My wife, who, look, she's not a tech nerd, but she's fairly sophisticated. She's young and aware of how technology works. She did this. This is what I came home to. Now, it's easy to laugh, but this is a perfectly reasonable mistake. I would have done this, but this is not doing anything. It's not charging. At the end of the day, look, these weird design decisions, they're not a huge deal, except for Apple doesn't provide any quick start, manual QR code, or iOS card tutorial showing you how to use the battery, which is insane. They absolutely need to, because even for me, a tech nerd, I didn't know it couldn't wirelessly charge. It's unintuitive. So I can only imagine how weird it is for a regular user. Don't pretend it just works when it just doesn't. Now, what I would have liked is for Apple to have put a MagSafe puck docking location and a cheek coil on the back of the battery pack so that the whole sandwich could be charged. However, ignoring heat, that would have certainly made the battery pack thicker. And that brings me to my next point. This battery is not thin. In fact, it's a fair bit thicker than my entire iPhone 12 mini. And look, I get it, physics. They didn't make it this size just for the lulz. However, Apple has to cater to the lowest common denominator. And that is the iPhone 12 mini, which I love, but apparently nobody else friggin' does. The reason this battery is so beefy is because of that phone. Apple wants all MagSafe accessories to work with all phones. And I understand that. Having different size SKUs for each size of phone, that's less elegant. However, should they have done that, well, the batteries could have occupied a larger surface area in exchange for either 1, a much higher battery capacity, 2, a much thinner case because the cells themselves could have been flatter and wider, or 3, both. Not only that, but the iPhone 12 mini is kind of the reason that MagSafe is not, well, in my video titled The Problem with iPhone MagSafe, it's really good and sciencey, you should check it out. I talk about how despite Apple's usage of really high quality magnets, they can't out-physics physics. And MagSafe's magnetic holding strength just isn't very good because of how shallow, few, and narrow the magnets are. And that's largely because of the iPhone 12 mini. Now, in that video, I mentioned that the reason Apple's MagSafe wallet sucks is because of shear force. Neodymium magnets only have a 15% holding strength relative to their 100% adhesive force. It's the reason sliding magnets apart is way easier than pulling them apart. Apple's just about using the most expensive magnets they can put inside the phone and their accessories, but the surface area and Z-depth of MagSafe literally limits how strong these magnets can be. So, to increase a magnet's holding strength, you have to add a medium to increase the shear force, something like rubber. If the MagSafe wallet had rubber on the back of it, it wouldn't slide around as much. I don't know why Apple didn't do that. But look, that doesn't matter because we're not talking about that. We're talking about the MagSafe Battery Pack, and that does have rubber. However, not only does the accessory material matter, so does the mating medium, your phone. We found last year that accessories resisted force thanks to the sticky, glossy glass on the iPhone 12 way better than the smooth, slippery satin glass on the iPhone 12 Pro. And in a surprise to nobody with a brain, Apple hasn't magically out-engineered physics. Your best mating surface for the MagSafe battery is rubber on rubber with a silicon iPhone case. Now, if you bravely decide to use the battery without a case on your phone, get ready for a bad time. The battery pack isn't really ever super firmly seated, and it frequently shifts around in your hand and in your pocket. In fact, if you decide to push a button on your phone without remembering to reach all the way around the thick brick to hold the other side of your phone, goodbye, phone. Now, Apple's using the same not super grippy rubber that they always use, and accessories like these Moment, whatever these are for cameras and what have you, they have a substantially grippier material that holds the iPhone like a champ. However, this rubber attracts lint and dirt and every other particle of crap in its path. That's not really Apple's design MO. Oh, and it also scratches really easily. I can already see the headlines. So I'm not really surprised that Apple opted to go a separate route with the rubber that they selected. All right, now let's get to the last problem, the battery itself. Now, a lot of dum-dums were quick to hot take how awful the 1460 milliamp hour battery was, that couldn't even charge an iPhone 12 mini with 2300 milliamp hours to 64%. However, and I cannot stress this enough, amp hours is not a measure of capacity. This is the formula to find the number of watt hours, and that is the measurement that can actually compare apples to apples or apples to pears. Now look, the iPhone 12 series use 3.81 volt batteries, and the MagSafe pack has 2 cells in parallel, making 7.62 volts. Do some math here, and you'll find out that the number of times the MagSafe battery can charge your iPhone is this. Except for, no, that's actually a lie, because those numbers assume a 100% charging efficiency. If your phone has ever gotten warm or hot while charging, that's the result of good, hard-working electricity getting lost to charging inefficiencies. The system is cruel. Even charging by a cable in the best scenarios nowadays, that is to say a high-quality power supply, cable, device, and ambient room temperature, only results in about a 90 to 95% efficiency rate. And wireless charging is substantially more inefficient. In fact, it's exponentially so. I was able to, on average, charge my iPhone 75%. Now, this is an iPhone mini, which, when we do the math, gives us about a 60% charging efficiency with the MagSafe Battery Pack. Now, using the numbers that my friend Aaron found in his excellent video I've linked below, all iPhone models in their ideal circumstances charge much less than one full charge, with about 40% of the entire MagSafe battery's capacity just getting wasted away as heat. Now, this might sound really bad, but a 60% wireless charging efficiency is actually quite good, and a lot of it is thanks to how MagSafe is designed. The magnets perfectly align the send and receive coils. Newer, fast wireless charging standards on the Android side have significantly lower efficiency. Now, ignoring the environment, who cares about planet Earth anyway, this isn't really much of an issue when you're tapped into the grid because, well, the electricity is continual. But when the power source you're carrying around is finite, like a battery, efficiency actually is really important. Unfortunately, how Apple achieves this impressive 60% efficiency rate is a bit, it sucks. You see, I hated Apple's old battery cases because they were cases. They were huge, bulky, and not really intended to be removed. MagSafe's pitch is, I'm low on power. Let me slap this battery on really quick, get the juice I need, and then take it off. See you later, MagSafe. But that's not really reality. The charger only puts out a maximum of 5 watts, and that is, again, under ideal circumstances. So even with the phone in standby and in a cool location, charging takes quite a long time, like a couple hours. And that's in, again, ideal circumstances. In my test with the iPhone 12 mini in the real world, just using the phone at all made it warm enough for the battery to pretty much all but stop sending juice to the phone. In fact, the phone was draining faster than it was filling up. To make matters worse, I found that the phone's display would dim very quickly anywhere outside or in the car, presumably to prevent the device from getting too toasty, which made outdoor screen visibility awful. This is apparently a much bigger and more frequent issue with the iPhone 12 mini than it is with other models, but I have heard reports of similar behavior on other devices as well. Additionally, the battery will slow to a crawl once your iPhone hits an 80% charge, and it stops altogether at 90% because charging efficiency decreases as your phone's battery fills up. Now, you can force the battery to top you off inside of Control Center, but this generates quite a bit of heat and really only pretty much nets you a few extra percentage points, and it kills the battery really fast, so I really wouldn't suggest it. Now look, I know that the whole pitch to MagSafe is how it's wireless and rotationally indifferent, and you can just slap stuff on. However, magnets, well, they have polarity, right? Apple was rumored to be testing a smart connector of sorts, like that Pogo Pin implementation that they have on iPad Pro, on the iPhone internally a few years back. With a strip of magnets on each side to perfectly align a charging puck, you could have had magnetic properties of MagSafe while having the efficiency of a wired charger through those pogo pins, because it would literally have been copper to copper contact, just like on the iPad. Then again, I'm not an engineer nor a designer, so maybe that's just a stupid, lousy take. The MagSafe Battery Pack is just, it's not good. And look, that's not really Apple's fault. I bought the Anker and Mophie MagSafe chargers too that everyone's been recommending, and frankly, they're both pretty stupid as well, with many of the same problems. And also, the shear force is worse. The phone falls right off the Mophie, and the Anker is really not much better. However, they do actually allow you to charge with your device connected via a cable, which is nice. And they both come in at pretty much half the price of Apple's solution, which makes them a way better option if you feel like you need a MagSafe battery. But just trust me on this one, you don't. I found that strapping this enormously fat brick to the back of my iPhone for more than half the day in exchange for a fairly marginal increase in battery life, it just wasn't worth it. I get through the day pretty easily, even with my iPhone 12 mini, because I Qi charge at my desk and I charge via Lightning in my car. And on days where I know I'm going to be running out of battery, like when I travel, I'll just have my bag anyways. And a basic wired USB-C PD battery pack is not only way less money, but it will charge my phone much faster to a much higher percentage in a diminutive fraction of the time without making my phone stupidly difficult to handle in the process. Sorry, Apple, this just ain't it. Same to you. What are these other ones called? Mophie, and what was the last one? Oh yeah, the Anker one sucks too. If you didn't think this video sucks, you should give it a like. If you did think it sucks, just like the MagSafe Battery Pack, well, let Tim know by sending it to him, your friend, or anyone else that may dislike this video. Wouldn't that be awesome? More views? I'm gonna stop talking. Thank you so much for watching. How do I end this? Stay standing.